Now, it was nearly 7 months ago when I started turning this space, this crappy old shed, into what would soon become my studio. And it has been such a pleasure. I've been really enjoying the process of restoring this space and just transforming it into something that is able to function best for me. A space that I'm actually able to be creative, a space that I'm able to be myself. And if you guys are ever given an opportunity like this, you really should run towards it. Now, I had no idea how much time, energy, and money would go into this sort of project. I walked into this whole thing kind of blind, and it was really scary at times. In the end, it was totally worth it, but man, it was really overwhelming. So in this video, I'd like to give a little bit of insight into the process of building out this studio, specifically the financial side of building this space out. No, this is not a perfect blueprint of how to spend your money on building a studio. Everyone has different resources, everyone has different abilities and different skill sets. And the prices of items and the cost of different building materials fluctuates all the time. For some people, depending on their resources or depending on their skill set, they might be able to do a job like this for much cheaper. And for other people, it's going to cost them a lot more money. But based off of the size of the building, the current price of building materials, and based off of the resources that I had available at the time, my friends and I estimated that we could pull off building a studio in this crappy shed for under $2,000, which to me, that sounded insane, especially when you look at what was there before, all of the crap, all of the garbage, all of the literal rat shit that was in our way. That seemed ridiculous to me. But you know what? I'm a ridiculous guy, so I said, let's go for it. Now, the first thing we needed to take care of was building a staircase, building some method that we could get in and out of this room easily. Before that, we were using a ladder and we were going through a window. It was not very efficient at all, so we needed a staircase. And the cost of the lumber to be able to build that staircase cost $56.79. As I mentioned before, the price of 2x4s and 1x6s were really expensive, so we kind of got ripped off, but that's just the nature of construction, that's just the nature of renovations. So after we installed the staircase, we needed to replace the floor. The floor that was installed here probably hasn't been replaced since this barn was first built. Oh boy. I can just feel the entire room shake when you do that. There was lots of patches, lots of holes, lots of rotting wood that was really sketchy. It was really nerve-wracking being up here and trying to clean out this space. So we ripped out the old floor and we installed 3/4 inch OSB. And this room is 16 feet by 20 feet, so we bought 250 square feet worth of OSB, and that was very expensive. That cost us $464.48. Not cool. So far, we've only installed a staircase and a new floor, and we're already burning through more than a quarter of our budget. And it only got worse. I only got more scared when I started to see that there were leaks in our roof. We did not plan to replace the roof altogether. That was going to go way over budget. Thankfully, we were able to buy a bucket of tar for $24.59, and that solved our problem pretty well. Ideally, we should replace the whole thing, and maybe we will have to do that in a couple of years from now, but right now, the roof's not leaking, so it's not my problem. But just in case our patchwork was not thorough enough, we went ahead and bought some moisture barrier. This is a layer of really thick plastic that we installed in the ceiling, in the walls, everywhere. And for that roll of moisture barrier, it cost $41.53. Now, I really wanted to have a grid installed in my studio. I really wanted to hang lights. I wanted to use that for storage. It was a really important feature to me that I didn't mind paying a little bit of extra for. We bought 50 feet worth of square tubes that we cut down and we installed in the ceiling so that I could have a proper grid, and it also acts as a method of support. It acts as a way of preventing the building from twisting or warping in any way. It looks great, it's pretty affordable, and I'm really happy with the final results. In total, those steel beams cost $110.38, and to install those beams, we installed 3 lag bolts on each side, which cost a total of $69.28. Now, because I'm hanging lights and because I'm hanging all of these accessories to the ceiling, I really wanted to have an effective way of being able to plug them in. I wanted to have a really efficient way of powering all of those accessories because I didn't want to be dealing with a lot of extension cords and having to trip over a lot of wires. That just was not what I wanted. So I had installed in here 4 plugs that are in the ceiling and 4 plugs that are on the ground floor. This was much more expensive to do than if I just had a couple outlets installed on the ground floor and the lights in the ceiling. that would have been much cheaper, but I really wanted to have this feature. It really makes a big difference to me and my workflow. So the price of the electrical cost $151.14. Here in Quebec, we deal with a lot of really cold and really long winters. So when it came to deciding what we were going to use for the interior of our wall, when it came to trying to figure out what we were going to use for the installation, I really wanted to go with something really heavy duty, something like Rockwool R20 or R40 insulation. That would have been really great for two reasons. For one thing, it would have been just really great to heat up the whole room, but also having really good insulation in your walls is also going to help treat sound. It's going to help make the room a little bit more soundproof. We live next to a farm. My roommate is a woodworker. He's got power tools going on all the time. So yeah, it is really annoying having to deal with all of that noise. Unfortunately, because I'm on a really tight budget, that was not an option. So instead, I decided to go with R12 fiberglass insulation. This is pretty much the cheapest insulation you can possibly buy. So we bought 7 packages of this insulation, and it does a pretty good job. With just a small space heater, you can heat up the entire room and it feels nice and toasty. But in total, that fiberglass cost $258.24. Now, ideally, I would have gyprock, I would have drywall on the walls, but it's really expensive, and as I said earlier, I'm trying to do this for as cheap as possible. So I knew some friends of mine who were doing renovations to their house, and they were removing all this old paneling from their walls, and they were just gonna throw it out in the garbage. So I asked if I was able to take it, and they were happy enough to give it to me rather than just throwing it out. Even though it looks hideous and there's lots of cracks, there's lots of holes inside of this paneling, it was free, so free is great. Unfortunately though, there were not enough pieces for me to finish the entire studio. I still had the entire ceiling that needed to be covered. So I bought 12 pieces of the cheapest and the thinnest plywood that was available. And that cost me a total of $187.24. Now, when you do construction, there's a lot of really small purchases that you're going to need to make, such as screws, nails, glue, staples, really small things that you don't think add that much, but they accumulate very quickly over time, and they can really make a big impact on your wallet, even if you're not noticing it. I did not keep track of these small purchases very well. I think it cost somewhere around $100, maybe it only cost $50. So we're just gonna split the difference and land at $70 for these screws, nails, glue, staples, you know, things like that. So in total, I spent $1,434.85 on building my studio, which is really amazing. We were almost $600 under budget, and this has been a really great place for me. It's a place where I'm able to be myself. It's a place where I'm able to be creative, and I'm able to make these great videos for you. At least I hope that they're great videos, but that's not for me to say, that's for you to say. And if you do think that these are great videos, you should hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Ring that notification bell so you're getting those notifications, you know, do all that jazz. And also share this video with a friend if you think that there's someone in your life who would benefit from this content. If you think there's someone in your life who is hoping to build a studio or is in the middle of a project like this, go ahead and share a link with them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.